Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to start the day off is two specific questions that the justices asked in the Rahimi case yesterday in oral arguments at the Supreme Court. This has the potential to undermine all the cases that we care about coming from the ATF going forward. This could be a big one, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Make sure you leave it in the comments field below and send and share this video out because this is an important aspect to take from these oral arguments. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. We're distributing freedom twice daily, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. All right, my brothers and sisters, we're going to hit two things here. One from Justice Thomas, one from Justice Alito. Now, they both asked questions of the Solicitor General who is defending all the cases that are coming, she's defending all the cases that are coming against the DOJ's overreach, the ATF's overreach. For example, the pistol brace rule, yeah, she's defending that one. The bump stock ban that she's going to have in front of for the Supreme Court within the next year, yeah, she's defending that one. And then you have the frames and receivers rule. So all three of these things that are based off of executive action from the ATF and the DOJ, keep that in mind, are influenced by this. At the exact same time, the SCOTUS is going to hear about Chevron deference, which is another ATF executive overreach piece. That's four things that are going against the ATF that this woman is going to be defending, all right? Now, let me show you these quotes, and let's dive into this because I don't think this is just coincidental. A lot of these questions, as I've assessed this, these justices were asking them on a broad, very important direction, and they weren't all based on the Rahimi case. All right, check this out. First one from Justice Thomas. Just one last question. This is a judicial determination here. Would you be able to make the same arguments if it had been an administrative determination? Administrative determination would be things like executive rules, pistol braces, frames and receivers, bump stocks, okay? Solicitor General Prelagar, this is the person who's defending all of these exact same issues that we just said. I think it would be far more difficult to defend an executive branch or an administrative determination because of the separate Second Amendment principle that guards against granting executive officials too much discretion to decide who and who cannot have firearms. Understand that Justice Thomas just got the Solicitor General who's going to defend the bump stock bans, who's going to defend the pistol brace rules, who's going to defend the frames and receivers rules, to say that the executive branch, had the executive branch done these things, they would be harder to defend because it has specific restraints on the executive branch making up rules about who can and cannot have firearms. Justice Thomas just got the person defending him to undermine her own case in everything going forward in three of the main areas. And that's before we even get to AR bans. That's a really big deal. These court cases don't just happen in a vacuum. This is part of part of the court record, okay? And that's the first one from Justice Thomas. Now, let me get to Alito, and then again, I'll tie these things together. Here's what Alito asked. Suppose that a jurisdiction enacted a concealed carry permitting regulation that is almost identical to the one we invalidated in Bruin, except that it requires an applicant to show that he or she is sufficiently responsible. And responsible is something they hit a lot. We're going to come back and do another video on. But here's the answer from the Solicitor General to stay on point. So if that were implemented through a system of executive discretion, just as I was discussing with Justice Thomas, I think that there could be an additional principles that come into play that would guard against that kind of licensing regime. Everything that they have been building over the last 2.5, 3 years was just undermined in these two questions. Executive overreach being an issue from the own Solicitor General, and then the licensing regimes that are going against people who would say they're sufficiently responsible because it's too overly broad. Everything that we are talking about here through executive discretion, the Solicitor General just undermined it twice in oral arguments at the Supreme Court. Now, what does this mean and why do I think this is important? The reason that we need to know about this is first just to hold it and bring it up again when we're talking about it, again in the future in other cases. But the second thing is, this is speaking to something bigger than just the Rahimi case. The Rahimi case is about an issue that's specific. They're talking about executive overreach. They're talking about all the different executive angles, and even the Solicitor General is going, yeah, that's a bit of a stretch because the executive branch can't do this. Legislatively, that's one thing. Executive branch is another. Everything that we've been fighting for the past 2.5 to 3 years has been based on the executive or administrative actions. That is not insignificant. That is important. And as we move forward, we're going to continue to see more and more of this, particularly since you see all the different cases that are lining up against executive overreach and bureaucratic action, like the bump stock ban, the frames and receivers, the pistol brace ruling, and now the Chevron deference. All of these things are massive, and when you look at what's coming down the pipe, there's a reason they're asking these questions, because they see the playing field that's coming at them. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Did I land this plane in my way off base? And I cannot wait to see you on the next one. My name is Braden, and I will see you then.